on the front of our page. We have teamed up with Nova Research. You do a virtual research, go in, do it, go for veterans. All it is a phone call. You make a phone call, you put in some information, and then they call you and see if they want you to, if you're eligible to sign up, if you're, and then a lot of it is virtual. And so that's what I like about the Nova Research. So tonight, we're not sure if Dr. Glum is going to come on. For one reason is they're having power outages due to the fires out there. She's safe. She's in San Diego and everything, but they're rotating power back and forth. So let's get into the fun part of our program. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thanks.
So, let's talk a little bit about when you went in and, what ship you went on. And I want to know where you went to boot camp.
Well, let's see. I joined in '87. Would have been in February of '87. Went to boot camp where all the men go, men men of steel, which was Great Lakes. Of course, I had to go in the wintertime like everybody else does. And while I was in Great Lakes, did boot camp, got through my A school. I was a gas turbine mechanic, and we were picking orders, and I wanted to go to a frigate or destroyer out in Norfolk, and instead they sent me to Saltcraft units out of Little Creek. And I said, well, what the hell's that? And they said, well, we don't know, because it was brand new back then. We don't know, but you'll find out when you get there. So me and about 20 of us, that's where we wound up at. So that was kind of the start of everything.
Well,
And
wait. Great Lakes. You said you went in the wintertime.
February,
What the hell is wrong with you?
well, I was there. Everybody goes in the wintertime.
No,
Uh,
I went in August and I went to San Diego.
oh, you anyways.
You darn right.
My brother went to San Diego. That's where they actually, we're up there with stencil pencils writing our shit on our uniforms, and they get theirs embroidered.
Oh, no, that's not true.
My brother went to Sandog, and I saw it.
Oh, okay. He was lucky because I had that stupid stencil and you're over there trying to write it down and do all this stuff. And you get a little bit out of the lines, they get upset with you.
Yeah, no, they sent me up to Great Lakes. That's my A school is in Great Lakes. All the engineering courses are up there, so that's why I was shipped up there. I didn't get a choice in the matter. So went up there, reported down to ACU 4 down at Little Creek, and I was at the time we were on. It was called neutral duty. It was really, you weren't on seaside, you weren't on shore side. We just got everybody here until we fill up the ranks, and then we'll divide it up. So when they divided it all up, I wound up. I was actually shore duty billet, and my LPO came to him and says, "Hey, uh, they're looking to put together a cruise to go up the North Atlantic. Get to go to England and France and, all that kind of stuff." And I said, about 3 months. I said, well, yeah, man, that sounds like fun. So, of course, I volunteered myself.
Oh, what's up there?
Now, what happened after that? When the shit hit the fan in August, they're like, oh, you're going, you're headed over to Middle East. I'm like, well, whoa. I only volunteered for this. And my chief looked at me and said, you volunteered for all of it. Well, I said, my orders are only for 3 months. Then you're going to have to send me home anyway. And they said, no, we got that part covered too. So the award mod came through, which was basically from today until needs of the Navy's done with me on this particular little jaunt. So anyway, we packed up and headed, across the pond after Kuwait was invaded, and got over to the NAG, and part of the the amphibious fleet that was over there with all the Marines on board. So we were over there, I think 8.5, 9 months. It's been 30 some years, so I think I was over there about 8.5, 9 months off the coast, various places out there.
I think the part though about being in the Navy that we were before the show we were talking about the galleys. So and we're talking about us. 3 times a day you ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and and you go through the chow hall, And then, I told them I unwrapped because I was on a supply ship, and y'all probably received some of that brown lettuce.
Oh
But
yeah.
tell them about the box that we might have sent you over.
I never knew where it came from. I'm going to assume it's you because you were on a tender. We were, or I'm not tender. I'm sorry, supply.
A
We
supply.
were, we were up in the Nag, North Arabian Gulf, and we've been up there for 3-4 weeks. You know, and waiting for the whole faint thing going on. Anyway, we were down to eating sour cream and kidney beans and onions, no shit, mixed together. Or maybe some white rice with like 3 shrimp on top. You had to like be friends with somebody to get a shrimp. Otherwise, it was just all white rice. Plenty of green powdered eggs. But anyway, we finally came south because the only reason we came south because number one, we were out chow. So we actually took on stores for about 14 hours straight. And as you well know, Calvin, that's a long time.
It is.
We were both air in. Anyway, we're passing, we're all lined up, we're passing chow, passing all our stuff down. And we've got these 60-pound boxes of steak. We kind of get a quick glance at it, reading it as it goes by. So finally we got a break, and I'm standing there holding my box of that steak. And I'm looking at it. First thing I saw was expiration date. It had been expired since 5 years prior to probably 85. This
Jesus.
box had expired, so it was probably good 10 years before that. But on the side of it, as I looked around on the box on the side of it, it had the Army, you got that black C for the commissary, had that stamp on it, and it had rejected, nice block, U.S. Federal Bureau Prisons.
Jesus.
Well,
That wasn't the only box.
Nothing but the best for our troops. Holy.
Yeah. So we got, I don't know how many of them came through the line, but we got plenty of them. And they must have been sitting at the bottom of his ship for, I don't know, 15, 20 years.
probably about 30.
Probably sitting down there on ice. So yeah, that was just, and like I said, the brown lettuce, man, just throw that shit over the side. It's worthless. And a lot of times, whenever we'd have the scuttle open and would come down like that, we'd actually throw it through the scuttle and throw it over the side, just so. But yeah, that's some of the food that we were fed over there. I mean, the infrastructure back then wasn't at all what it is now.
Right,
So
right.
you got what you got.
No, but let it be known, the ships that were out there that were not USS, but they were USNS.
Right.
Them some bitches had Navy people on it, and all of them guys ate in a restaurant. And I guarantee you, they didn't get them flank steaks. They got the New York strips, prime. We got we only got on our birthdays. So
we got whatever dregs was left over, and and I'm sure we probably got everything that the carriers and the destroyers and the battleships, all the cool people didn't want.
So let's talk about the boiler room. This is the next thing I want to talk about. You work down in the boiler room, and
we were kind of hoard out, so to speak, the ship's company.
Right.
I was embarked, and they looked at us and said, "Oh, look what we got here. We got like 30 more sailors, and we're shorthanded. So guess what your asses are going to do?" So anyway, they put us to work based on our rates. That ship had it was diesel, had some diesel on it. Diesel main propulsion. I believe it had some boilers, for some water or something. I don't remember anymore, but I know it was a diesel boat. So anyway, we were basically assigned to them. We were assigned our GQ stations through the ship. So everything that the ship did, we just didn't go hide out somewhere. We're all sailors. You're all going to go to work and do something. So I learned a lot. But yeah, we'd go down there. Of course, couldn't roll your sleeves up. Had to be long sleeve, dungarees, cotton, and it's already 100 50 outside, and the main space is, usually 120.
Why did you have to have long sleeves? I mean, because you want to burn yourself or what?
In case there was a fire, that this was standard operating procedure. In case there was a fire or some kind of flare up, the common sense was, you got a better chance of if because our stuff was supposed to be flame retardant, you had a better chance of survival, if there was a fire than having an exposed skin.
Oh,
No matter
okay.
on your face, but let's worry about your forearm. Makes sense, right?
Well, they needed this,
Yeah,
to properly work.
sure. And we toted our gas mask with us. It was for our ship. It was actually we started carrying a gas mask back. Oh hell! As soon as we came through Suez, before we got to Suez Canal, we were issued gas masks. And for us, if we were caught seen without it, that was an instantaneous captain's mask offense. Captain's mask, much like Army Marine Corps, like office hours. You go see the officer in charge, and they dole out punishment, whatever it may be. But that was one of the things we lived with. So of course, when the chem alarms went off, and we're all putting all that crap on and having fun.
How many times did your alarm go off during Desert Storm?
Oh well, at least a half dozen. At least.
Yeah.
And, they went out, was that the M8 paper? They'd come out and put it on the skin of the ship, well, we don't see anything.
Right.
And they kept telling us our chem alarms, oh, it must be false. But after talking to you and, various other guys over the years, I guess the entire fleet out there had bad chem alarms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
40,000,
As
right?
you well know, the wind and the garbage all stopped at the shoreline. So the Navy never got any fallout from anything else. Everything stopped at the shoreline. So we were never included.
Right.
We put the old gas mask on, and get them sealed up. I remember sitting there so long wearing that thing. My mouth actually filled up with sweat, and I could actually swallow.
Oh, yeah. God, I'd
Oh,
forgotten
my
about that.
God.
Wonderful.
Like that fun. But those were some of the things that we dealt with. I mean, sky was black. We got the black soot rained on us. Hussein, he dumped like 40 trillion barrels of oil in the Gulf he was trying to light it on fire, right? And we're up there making drinking water out of this stuff. Let that sink through for a minute. We didn't carry bottled water with us like Army guys.
I didn't even think about that. Thanks a lot. Damn, 50. I'm 54, and now I'm realizing that. Holy crap!
Yeah, because the Navy, we take salt water, flash it
Right.
off, salt, and you're left with the water, right? But water does not. But those distillers do not flash petroleum distillates because the atoms are so small.
Okay.
So that's why your bug juice, which is our Kool-Aid, your bug juice had a oil sheen on top of it all the time. Nice rainbow color.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Because of the water we were drinking out of the Gulf.
Kevin's, thanks. Now, damn.
Sea
See, we
snakes.
did.
Sea snakes and
Yeah, so, other than it keeping your pipes cleaned out, pretty regular. I don't know what other effects, anything. Again, no one ever talks about the Navy. I always hear about the Army guys. I've listened to a lot of various other seminars and, doing some research on my own, but it's always about boots on the ground guys and girls. Obviously the Seabees, was the only Navy they really talk about. But by and large, the fleet who was off the coast, sucking all this downwind stuff, nobody talks about that.
And that's right. I mean, that's very true, because if you've ever listened to any of the old Gulf War, studies and research and testimonies and stuff, they always talked about boots on the ground. But there was actually a movie done called The Gulf War. I don't know if you ever seen that movie. You should watch it, because it explains exactly the stuff that Wade has mainly talked about, as when we blew up Camisea out there and it all pushed back down on us. I mean, that plume of smoke was what, 1.84 million miles long. I believe that's what they calculated it to be. And so it goes all the way down. I mean, it covers everybody, But I do believe the further up north you were with boots on the ground were more affected by that. But I also think we were also affected more by the oil rigs, the fires out there, and now the drinking water shit.
You didn't think about
Man,
that, did you?
I didn't think about that. I've never put. Well, I
Like I said,
guess
I don't know what the
That don't
long term.
happen very often. He's actually speechless. That don't happen very often.
Well, being in the Navy as long as I was, being an engineer, I know what I've had experience with drinking water and what it should and shouldn't look like, just being an engineer, because part of our, not my job in particular, but the other engineer guys, some of them maintain water quality.
that's why I drank a lot of Dr. Pepper.
Drinking water. No. My
Yeah,
pet,
because that's so good for you.
That's a lot better than drinking water on the ship.
my breakfast is usually a Snickers bar and one of them Haji Cokes, had the writing on it.
Well, now here's the one thing that I will say. I have noticed, like a lot of guys on my ship and a lot of Navy guys I talk to, they all have some type of kidney problem, like kidney stones, especially with kidney stones. I don't know if you've ever experienced kidney stones, Steve.
Not me, but I tell you what, I remember some guys I was on the ship with actually came down with them while we were deployed.
Yeah, I was too.
Yeah, I personally thank God I've never had a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, with me in particular, I remember, hell, we just lined up, took shots. I don't know what it was.
Right.
Right.
I was an E4, third class. Chief tells you get in line, go get a shot. Are you going to question? No, you lined up once you got shot. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, well, the medical guys, the corpsmen, they're giving out shots, and they're like, because we were part, being the amphibious task force, we were, if it was a go, we probably would have, assaulted the beaches. Um, and I was, like I said, I was a maintenance guy on the El Cacan, but they set us up as basically body replacements, fodder if needed to man the 60s, whatever we had to do. So we just lined up, took shots. We don't know. I don't know, but I do recall the biggest thing. I remember a lot of pain in my arms after getting shots, and I remember we were actually going up to do some target shooting, and I could barely. It was all I could do to be able to carry a 16, unloaded 16, which is not a lot of weight. What, 4, 6, 7 pounds empty? Now we're talking old Vietnam eras with triangle handguards and you know all that cool stuff is what we were using in the Navy. But it was all I could do to really carry that thing because I was just so weak in my you know upper body strength after getting shots. I don't I you know I don't know. I've never had very good after that. I've never had very good upper body strength. I'll tell you the truth. It was all I could do to because we had to do push-ups and all that dumb shit for PFT, and it was all I could do to get push-ups because I just don't have it. No matter what I did, I just never had good upper body strength after that. Of course, before I went there, my triglycerides were normal, and my triglycerides have been in the over 400 for
Your triglyceride?
yeah, yeah, my blood work, triglyceride.
Yep. Okay.
They've been, 400 or 500. Hell, one time they couldn't even register them because they were so high.
Well, wait, you can go ahead and explain that a little bit.
I got something. Yeah,
Oh, that's just a marker that I myself have been keeping track of a lot of vets, and like your cholesterol levels, which correspond or go with your triglycerides as well, are 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 significantly higher in Gulf War vets as well. But even if you're on like a statin drug to bring your cholesterol levels down, it's not affecting your triglyceride levels. And like your LDLs is that's your bad, and the easy way to remember it is little devil. But LDLs, I went from the 250s, which is horrible. They wanted under 100, I'm down. I'm not even taking a statin anymore. I got mine down so low into the 60s, but my triglycerides are still elevated.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
mine's basically all day. And that's just kind of where, and that's just something me personally, I've been tracking, talking to other veterans, and that's just something I pay a lot of attention to.
Well, Steve, Wade was a medic in the Army, so he's more familiar with that.
And he's our research guy. This guy,
In the resident.
Oh yeah.
out of all the Gulf War veterans out there, I believe Wade's done the most of anybody. He's been to
he done a
so
lot.
many of them. I mean, I got to praise Wade on that.
I like to stay engaged.
Well,
I'll say that.
I went back through my medical records, started tracking my blood work after I retired, and because I took copy of all that stuff. So prior to Gulf War, all my everything was normal. Triglycerides, blood, we have blood pressure. Everybody's got that, but cholesterol, everything I had was normal. And then after I came home, and then when my triglycerides started going up, right now I haven't been checked. I need to get my triglycerides checked again, but I think I finally got them down after, I don't know, 30 years. But now my good cholesterol is down, my bad cholesterol is up, but my overall number is good. So,
Yeah, that's how mine is.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was due to what we were given, the shots we were given. I don't know what I was given. I've done a lot of reading into it, but no one ever specifically said, hey, the Navy guys, y'all got this batch or that batch. Like the Army, their tracking methods were probably a lot better than ours were. Yeah.
But see, the thing of it is, so they lost all of our shit coincidentally. Try and find your shit. It's good luck. Wade might have, one of the few that may or may not have. I got a shot record that you can't read half of it, and those of us who've gone to wanting this type of thing, good luck, whether it'll ever show up.
That's what the damnedest thing is. And I know I sent a copy to Kevin, but I have my shot records. And we came home, we came back, redeployed back to Bragg from Fort Chaffee. So we had less than 10 days. And during that time is when we got all the pre-deployment shots. I was giving them, I was taking them. And I have my shot record. And there is no shots that are annotated on my shot record. So, but
go back from the first day that you went in until the last day, if you can find it in your medical records, and look at your hearing test and look at your eyesight test. That will shock you. I didn't realize how bad my hearing went down and how bad my eyesight went. Like, I was needing glasses back then. I didn't get glasses till I was like 45, and I cut hair for a living. And that doctor looked at me, he was like, you cut hair? I was like, yeah. He goes, man, you need bifocals. I was like, really? He goes, what does your haircuts look like? They look like John's hair.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, John.
That's okay.
It looked more like Wade's. It looked more like Wade's. They had a little bit more left. But, I mean, in the overall, if you go back and look at your medical records and you look at it now, you're just like, wait a second. Things don't add up to when you started to when you got in. You can you can go back to pre-military, post-military, and then you can realize even your blood work and all that was probably all messed up a little bit after Desert Storm. That's what I believe. But they kept it from us.
I feel the same way. Like you said, I've tried to lodge VA claims for Gulf War illness. And there's not, well, you can't prove it. What shots were you given? Hell, I don't know. They're not in my record. The only reason I could prove I was even there is because I got the medals for it. According to looking at my medical record, you'd never know where I was at. Just because nothing.
Well, I mean, your DD-214 says you're in Southeast Asia, right? I mean,
Yeah, of course it does.
yeah.
But I would say if you look at my medical record with what we were given, there was nothing ever annotated there. So
Right.
aside my DD-214 and evals and medals and all that kind of stuff, of course, yeah, I'm there. But medically wise, like I said, I don't think the VA really wants to dig too deep
So
into any age.
no, and it's never gonna. Well, I shouldn't say never, but I mean, so while you were there, Steve, did you start feeling issues while you were in country, or how long after you left did you start noticing some problems with yourself?
I started noticing, like I said, right after we took shots, I noticed the weakness, upper body weakness. It was like climbing ladders. I mean, it was like some days you just feel like you're just going to collapse. And of course, we drank as much water as we possibly could. But until I went and until I got shots, I was fine beforehand. Um, but it seemed like the entire loss of body strength. The tired all the time, chronic tiredness, I guess you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I've been struggling with that for years thereafter. Even, I mean, obviously, beyond, Navy life is difficult and there's a lot of lost sleep. I've been doing it did it for a long time, but I did not notice the chronic. I mean, now, that back then I was 21, 22. I could drink till 5 o'clock in the morning, go take a shower, maybe throw up, eat something, go to work next day,
There you
and
go.
keep on rocking that evening. You know what I mean? I could roll like that. After coming home from that, man, about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I'm about done. I just didn't have the stamina. Yeah, I just didn't have that stamina anymore.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I will say is that you know like I guess more Wade would this is more Wade's motto: eat better, exercise, keep going, don't stop, and you'll gain. That's what we have to do. As I mean, even as all human beings have to do it, but especially ones that have dealt with chemicals and that they don't know what the heck happened to us, but you eating better, and then the stuff they put in our foods, all the extra preservatives, everything that they put, out there in our bodies now. Well, I'm not going to say the name. I promise, Sean, I wasn't going to say the name. Uh, but I mean, it's just it now. It seems more and more of Americans are feeling like we do now. If you turn around and look, I could be saying, well, hell, I felt like this for years and years and years. You're in the pre-stage of it. It only gets worse. You better get moving on with it. But I do, I think that really and truly, mental health is a big crisis in a lot of America, but especially the vets. I looked at a story, and it's a guy during the Gulf War, and he kept like a mental log and how he deteriorated every year went. I was like, well, why in the hell are you keeping a log book of it? Because the more you read that log book, the more depressed you're going to get every day.
Sure.
That's how I feel about that.
There's a lot of truth to that, though.
Picking that scab every day, it's never
right. So the way you stop picking that scab is you put a Band-Aid over it, not like the VA does, slap a Band-Aid on it, send us on our way. But they literally, you got to get out there and keep yourself motivated to do what you got to do. I mean, most Desert Storm veterans have been married at least 2 or 3 times. Some of us are like, John been married once and everything, but a lot of Desert Storm vets, I actually present that as the stuff that we went through. I really do.
And you got to think about it in this way too. we were coming off. Saigon had fell about 15 years prior, so we're coming off the everybody hates spitting on the Nam vets, was not that far removed from Desert Storm. And then we go over there and come back, and now all of a sudden we're all heroes, I guess. But looking at these, these other guys that we know who are now, hell, I went to go join American Legion after I came back. They didn't they didn't want me in there, so I left, whatever, no big deal. But I think that the whole thing had shifted, I guess, in a way. I think a lot of us, me, feel a little bit of guilt that, we whenever came back and all of a sudden, the military's all cool again and we're all heroes. Where when my uncles came back from Nam, they were shit on, spit on, drank their lives away. So I think some of that is kind of rubbed off on us too, because we all grew up seeing that go on. So
Yeah.
we carry. I think some guys carry guilt over that, because of, I don't know.
I
So,
see that.
so I'm kind of curious because as normal, when we have another Navy individual on, I always got some questions because I don't know anything about the damn Navy.
That's right.
And I was kind of curious because I was asking Steve before we came live. We were talking a little bit about, what it was like to work in the engine room and, what you do to cool off and what you do for maybe entertainment. And he started talking about these things called sea snakes and, the thing that I know that Kevin likes so much, which I kind of chuckled about. So tell us a little bit about your version. You're a mechanic working in, which I kind of assumed you're working in the belly of the ship, just hotter than bloody hell. And when you get out, you like to go for a nice cool dip in the wherever you're floating in, right?
They're going to go for a swim in the pool, John. That's what the Navy does. Each boat has a pool.
Yeah, we all got our own pool. That's on the carriers. They got a pool. They have Starbucks.
They have an actual pool on the carrier. Are you being for real? No, not really. Not really. I mean, come on. We're talking about cruise lines prior to that. So
they got high diving boards. They got,
Yeah, our fun and excitement is when and the reason I'd come topside, number one, we're underway, so you had a little bit of a breeze on you. And like I said, you could see the sea snakes, run between the ships during unrep. And I was telling Kevin this one, there was one of the ships we'd pull up next to take on stores. There was a girl, one blonde. So of course we ain't seen women in months. So everybody go up and take turns with binoculars checking her out. So that was, we call it eyeball liberty, But so we see, and they did host swim call for us. I think maybe once or twice, and they would basically put on LSD, had a stern gate drop down and your thing come out the back of it. So they did have that going on, and but they had, like I said, they have one guy posted up there with an M14 looking for sharks, and sometimes they would put a small boat in the water depending on if it ran or not. Put caps.
If it ran, holy crap! If it ran,
it's a Gator fleet. Gator fleets, when it comes to money in the Navy, the Gators get the nickels and dimes. The carriers,
really,
carriers of planes, the submarines, they're all top dollar, high end, high speed, low drag. Then it comes the cruisers, destroyers, and then lastly comes the Gator fleet. The most probably overworked, underpaid bunch out there. So yeah, they would do a swim call occasionally, and after seeing the sea snakes, I gave up on that. I wasn't taking that risk, getting in the water.
Not
and so
God's green
you ever
earth.
take pictures of these sea snakes? So I'm always Wade used the terminology basically an ocean anaconda. I think is the way Wade phrased it. Maybe they are.
I mean, we didn't. I never took a picture of them. I mean, we didn't have cell phones.
Hell no. What, you want me to look over the side of the ship and go, oh, that's pretty. I'm going to take a picture of it.
I was lucky to have, an old 110 kind of thing.
Yeah.
We have to wait till we pull it.
Yeah.
If we ever pulled it in the port, go get your stuff developed. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of that kind of stuff. And of course, we didn't have email.
Right.
We didn't have TV. We got at 1600, they turned the TV on. We got us a couple episodes of MacGyver. Probably some whatever VHS they had, in the ship's
Old
lobby.
movies. Old movies.
Yeah, and that was about it. We didn't get to see the Super Bowl of the Giants that year. We actually got close enough to pick up A farts. Armed
Big
Forces.
farts.
Yeah, Armed Forces. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we called it AF. I never heard of A farts. AFN,
But who won that year?
Armed
Who
Forces
won that year? Who won that year? Huh?
Giants did, I believe.
Giants did?
Yeah, so we actually, it's like, it's only 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So we're all up all night long hooting and hollering. But yeah, it was A farts, we call it in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's a really cool thing. I mean, we can all, one way or another, we can all relate to what we went through over there. We can all relate to what it was like over there.
Yeah.
And then it's fun sharing sea stories and then the ground stories with our Army guys that lost the football game. And oh, did I bring that up again? I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, and I was shocked, Steve. The amount you guys. Well, you tell one story, Kevin, about how you ate. See, now I have to be honest. When I was playing, playing in the sand, we had a great mess sergeant. I can't say I went without as far as food guy, but you guys, I assumed being on a ship, you'd have pretty decent chow, and you guys are telling me otherwise, especially Steve.
I mean, for the most part, for what we ate, for being 20-year-old, it was good and everything. And I can, right, and for the cooks, and they did a great job, but they only got so much to work with. The only thing I don't like is white rice. Can't stand it. And I don't eat pancakes. I don't eat pancakes. I just
You
will
don't
not.
eat pancakes?
No.
Why is that?
No, God's green
Served
earth.
them.
When they served
Served
them,
too many times?
no, when you took a bite, it was like Jello. It just exploded in your mouth. I was like, no, thank you.
That's nasty.
Yeah,
that's nasty.
it was just
You
undercooked.
got like a dipper of butter and a dipper of syrup, and the pancakes just went like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's what they had to work with. They didn't have real pancake mix. They had this, other crap.
They had this
Wow.
engineered box crap. Depending on what you mixed with it, it could be vanilla ice cream, it could be pancakes. Whatever they mixed, whatever liquid they put in it.
And then the milk. When you went to get your milk, it didn't come out like it was like a thick milk.
Oh,
It
you
was
got milk.
thick. Huh?
He said you got milk.
And we got milk and chocolate milk.
Look at you. Well,
And we had a soda machine, and we had a bug juice machine. Would you like me to keep going? We didn't have an ice cream machine. I was pissed about that.
Yeah, we didn't have that. We did have
Ice cream machine.
Yeah, we did have, but we made a lot of bug juice. We did have sodas when we had them. We had drank a lot of that UHT milk. You know what I'm talking about? That ultra high temperature. It's in a box.
In a box.
Right.
See, that's what we got. We got box milk. Yeah.
We got that stuff. It was bad. One of my buddies threw that shit up everywhere.
And it came out as ice cream.
Yeah,
I will say this. I will also say this though. We got to pull in the port all the time because we were supplied. When we did pull in the ports, I'm gonna say this. I gotta give Pizza Hut and Bluebell homemade ice cream a lot of credit.
Did you get yourself some Campbell burgers?
No, they sent over pizza. Like they come to the ship. It was like $1 for like a good sized pizza. And then we
Where'd you pull in at?
Oh God, Alfajara, Bahrain,
Okay.
everywhere out there, Jabal, everywhere because we load up supplies.
Yeah, we
But-
didn't.
But man, it was so great to see a blue bill made from Texas, right down the street, not that far, about an hour and a half away from me, pull up and they sold pint of ice cream. Rocky Road, chocolate chip, a mint. I mean, sorry, I apologize for this Army guys, but man, we go down there and for like I don't even know if it was $1.50, we get a pint and you'd eat that whole thing, man. It'd melt by the time you got halfway through with it because it's in the desert, but it was great.
Yeah, I never had it. I mean, we had real eggs most of the time, and we had some. We would actually have real meat often.
Real meat.
Yeah, I mean, because again, we had a good mess sergeant. She did a phenomenal job. I wish I could remember her name. Just she did outstanding job.
Well, I mean, the other thing is too, though, is out there, and now that I know about the drinking water, I'm going to tell this story before we go off of air. I want to tell this story to everybody, and this is God's honest truth. So there was a guy that was on the ship that everybody kind of messed with, and because he was different stuff. I didn't mess with anybody. One day he walked by, he looked at me and said, Simon, you never mess with me, but don't drink the water. I'm not going to tell y'all, he was not just peeing in the water. After they make the water and it comes through the fountains and all that, he was doing other stuff to the water. I'm
Wow.
not lying at all. I mean, they immediately took him off the ship and said, see you later.
Was he like planting his seeds?
Yes, exactly. And because so many people
Wow.
mess with him, that's the way he was. You don't mess with the guy that's going to do your drinking water.
Yeah, you don't mess with the guy who makes the water.
Hey, so Steve, thanks for coming on. John,
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. I had fun.
John, Wade, thanks for coming on. I'm sorry, Dr. Glum's not coming on. She will be on next week, so we're going to do a 2-part series next week, I think, or we may just do Dr. Glum. I haven't decided yet. But we're going to go into the after show now. But remember, y'all go check out, Nova Research. It's in the Facebook, on the Facebook page. It's going to be in the details. Also, if you want to get a hold of me at Kevin Simon at GoForSideEffects.com. You can get a hold of me and John through Facebook Messenger. If y'all have research questions, get a hold of Wade. He's our research manufacturer. Oh, I just gave you a good name, Wade. So
manufacturer.
Well, I mean, it's the only thing I could think of at the time. Leave me alone. But guys, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all. We're going to have show.
Thanks, everyone.